Well, hi everybody and welcome to today's webinar. And we're going to have a practical webinar today about how to kick a craving. So we're going to experience the power of EFT to change your feelings about a particular food or drink. So let's just talk a little bit about you first. First off, you're an entrepreneur. You're somebody who's got a dream of a business and dream of using your skills and talents to help other people. But maybe you're a bit shy about your weight. Maybe you feel that your weight's holding you back. Maybe you're just a bit worried about doing those full-length photo shoots. Or what will people think when they see you? And will that affect your message? Will they be judging you on what you look like rather than on your message? And so you feel, just don't want to put yourself out there just as much as you actually think you should be doing in your business. And you dream of fantastic health. You would really love to not only be the right weight, but to have the energy, to have no aches and pains, to have good sleep, to really feel that fantastic health that we all dream about. And often our food can be affecting our health. Maybe you're also someone who's tried lots of diets. And I know that's certainly been me. We do lots and lots of different diets. And we've discovered that diets don't work. In fact, diets suck. Because often we find with diets that we actually end up weighing more. And I know that my first experience with dieting, I was about 10 kilos overweight and I ended up about 20 kilos overweight. And that's not a strange story. And so not only do you gain weight, but of course you're tired, you're cranky, you're hungry. And many diets, when you look at what the food is or the pretend food, it's just full of chemicals and crap. Particularly the drinks and things. I mean, there's nothing in them that's healthy for you. And so that dream of fantastic health seems to get further and further away. And one of the things we're going to talk about today, one of the things that stops the dieting is cravings. So you might be doing really well and eating the food proportions they're telling you and the bits and pieces just as the diet says, and then suddenly you'll see your favourite food. You'll smell a pizza. Someone will put chocolate in front of you. You'll get a desire for some hot chips or some crunchy chips. And your diet just goes out the window. And so that's what we're going to talk today, is about the cravings that get in the way. So I just thought I'd talk a little bit about me, just who am I to talk about this. And I'm a mother and a grandmother, and that is my 8 children. I'm also an investor, so they're 2 of our houses that we have as investments. I love adventure. This is actually a small adventure, just climbing the Brisbane Bridge, but I love bushwalking and getting outside and climb many of the mountains around Australia and New Zealand. I'm also a personal trainer, and I've been a personal trainer now for 10 years, and I'm also qualified as a nutritionist. I've been involved in the health food industry since the 1980s and ran my own business from 1980 to 1992 in health foods. And of course, 1980s were when health foods were really just starting to take off. And I did many of the qualifications at that time that related to being in the health food industry. And so health and eating well have been a passion of mine right from early life. And the oldest boy there, the one sitting down, he was actually born with a thing that they called at the time hyperactivity, which of course is now ADHD. And I had someone who gave me some advice, and it was just at the time when they were suggesting that diets could affect children's behaviour. And we took him off colours and flavours and sugar and ciliates, and it made a massive difference to his behaviour. And so I was really taken at the time with food can affect our health. And I had a story in my life. I was a little chubby child. My parents thought that a nice fat child was a healthy child, which was a typical 1950s type idea. I was very lucky. I just entered my teens and the weight fell off. But I was left with the belief that I was fat. So even when in that skinny photo up there, I actually still thought I was 3 kilos overweight, even then. And it's a photo of me today. Not quite as skinny, but very fit and healthy and strong. And I'm really happy to have that body that's able to do all the things I wanted to do. But of course, I would still like to lose some weight. And since that photo has been taken, I've actually lost 7 kilos just by putting my own brilliant advice into practice. And so I've got the nutritional knowledge, but I also now have the personal experience. I just want to tell you this story. So I've always had this craving for chocolate. And when I was a young mother and had a number of children at home, I think my craving for chocolate reached its peak. And I remember one day where I was absolutely desperate for chocolate, to the point where I put 3 kids in a pram and walked down a country road about 3 kilometres to get to the local service station. We lived out of town a bit, to get to the local service station just so I could buy chocolate, because I was so desperate. And you can imagine I went and bought quite a stack of chocolate and enjoyed it on the way home. I found, having lots of kids, that I had to be very careful and hide my chocolate, because otherwise they'd expect me to share. And I didn't want to share my chocolate. So I had to have my chocolate stash and I had to have it hidden. So fast forward many years and I run into EFT tapping, and I go to a seminar that talks about food cravings and losing weight and getting healthy. And one of the things they did was what we're going to do today. We're going to tap on our cravings. And the particular food that I brought along was a flake, because I just love those little melty bits of chocolate. And one of the things we do in this exercise is we're going to open the packet slowly, and then we're going to smell the food. And everybody laughed at me because I opened the packet and I stuck it right up at my nose and went, and just absolutely adored the smell of this lovely flaky chocolate. And everybody was like amazed at my enthusiasm for my chocolate bar. What happened was, each time we did a round of tapping and we had to smell the food, it got further and further away from my nose. And to the end, I was like, this just tastes and smells like oil. And it didn't appeal to me anymore. And I can say I have not had a flake since that day, which is amazing for a chocoholic. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take one of your favourite foods, one of your craving foods. So obviously it's got to be something that you would like to reduce the amount you eat, or even take it out of your diet. So chocolate, when we were doing asking the questions, it seemed like chocolate was a pretty big favourite of most people's. But chips are also another one, and it's one that I'm working on. And they're quite different. So we can work on each of those and see how you go. But ideally, you'll actually have the food with you right now and have it beside you, because we're going to look at it, we're going to smell it, and we're going to taste it. And so this works best if you actually have the food with you. So today you have the opportunity to tap away a craving. So we're going to do this together, and I'm going to show you how to work through it. Obviously, if you've got more than one food craving, then this is something you can take away and do with your other foods. But today we're going to just do one craving and see how you go with it. Well, one of the reasons why the tapping works for a food craving. So we have thoughts, and those thoughts might be things, often our food programming came from our childhood. So when you fell over and skinned your knee, you were patted and given a Band-Aid, And often you were given a sweet treat. When you went out to parties, you had all of this, the cakes and the lollies and the ice cream. And so they were all associated with having a fantastic time. Maybe when you went to visit grandma, she gave you special treats and gave you lots of cuddles and you felt really good. And so our thoughts and our food become connected. And we often have words that say, you know, aren't you a sweetie? Aren't you sweet? Isn't that? And you relate the feelings and the thoughts together. And of course, those feelings and thoughts become our actions. So when we now get lonely, when we get hurt, when we get sad, we decide, how am I going to do this? And you decide that you're going to, it's all right, I've just seen that some more people have joined us live. So that's good. Welcome, everybody. Oops, I'm going to get my chat box back. So we're talking about, so thoughts becomes words and words become actions, and those actions become our habits. So hi Tash, hi Elena, it's good to see you. So if you'd like to let me know what your food and what your food memories are. So we have food that fits with, you know, wanting to feel better, wanting to feel soothed, wanting to feel loved and cared about. And so those thoughts become their actions. So whenever we have a bad day, whenever we're feeling low, sad, tired, we think, hey, I know what's going to make me feel better. Those lovely, yummy food that I had when I was a child, and they made me feel better. And they start to become a habit. So it might be that at the end of every day, you feel that you have to finish your day with a glass of wine, some cheese, some biscuits, anything that helps you have that nice feeling, that reward at the end of the day. So carbs make everything better. It does seem like it's the carbs. So it's the sugar, but it can also be the bread. And I have a particular love of crunchy outside, soft inside bread. And, you know, obviously bread's not that big a deal, but it is if it's a craving as opposed to hunger. So if you have a piece of a sandwich for lunch, that's fine. If you're sitting down after dinner and you're full and you have your bread and cheese, then that's no longer about food for nutrition. That's food that's about your emotions. So yes, I'm making you hungry. That's good. We're going to get these emotions going so that we can tap them away. So has anybody got a food that they particularly crave? Or any memories of how food was used as a reward? So I remember going to the local show, and one of the special treats that we had every year at the local show was hot donuts. So hot jam donuts it seemed like the only time of the year I ever had them, and they were at the show, and shows were a really big deal in those days. We dressed up, we went out for the day, and this reward, that hot jam donut. I remember things like chips. So we go out for a barbecue or a picnic and there was always chips. And I love chips. I love the crunchiness. I love the saltiness. But of course, it's a memory. I love the remembering going out and enjoying that time together. So, yeah, we're given chocolates and even now as adults, chocolates are presents. Chocolates are people saying, you know, we love you. Chocolates are rewards and gifts. So the thought that goes behind that, I need to reward you. What will I reward someone with? I'll reward them with chocolate. So what's going to happen? And yeah, we did actually have a lot of theory about, like, I need to have sugar to make you work better, sugar to make your brain work better. And that came from a lack of understanding of how our body's metabolism works. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the sugar craving in a bit. So what happens if you don't address this mindset? If you don't look at the fact that chocolate's a reward, or chips are to do with parties, and your bread and cheese at night is to do with, you've done a good job for your day. If you don't address that, then when you're trying to lose weight or get healthy or cut some of these foods out of your diet for whatever reason, you won't be able to, because those memories of this is how you reward yourself, this is the special food, this is important food, will just stay there. And you can use willpower for so long, but then you have a bad, crappy day, you're feeling lonely, or you have a fight with someone, and exactly what you said, chocolate fixes everything. You've got to go have your chocolate. Or maybe it's wine, or maybe it's Coca-Cola, or what have we got there? Toast. Toast. It fixes anything. That's right. So that it was a memory of, like, when you were sick, your mum cared for you, she looked after you, she loved you and gave you toast with butter on it, and it has that memory that goes with it. So if you don't address this mindset issue, then you will continue to have these cravings and continue to have the problem. So our willpower is in our conscious mind, our analytical mind. We know that eating a family block of chocolate every single day is not good for us. We all know that. We all know that when we're full, we should stop eating. That's the rational mind. That's the logical, analytical mind. And we can use our willpower. We can go on a diet and say, I'm not going to eat this. And that willpower can take us through a short period of time. But what happens is, in our subconscious mind, we have our emotions. So we remember all the love and the feelings that go with the food. We have our habits, which means that after dinner, there's a habit that says, let's have some special treat, or let's have something sweet, or I've got to have my glasses of wine with the dinner. And also addictions are in this subconscious mind. And sugar is highly addictive. And bread and the carbs turn into sugar. So when we talk about sugar, we don't just mean sugar. We mean all of the simple carbs that turn into sugar very quickly. And sugar is highly addictive, and it's in the subconscious part of our brain. And so you can see, if your habits, your addictions, and your emotions are all in the subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is about 90% of your brain compared to the 10% of your conscious brain, then, willpower starts to lose its abilities. So just talking a little bit more about sugar, the sugar addiction. When you eat sugar, it tastes nice, you like it, but it's addictive. It's highly addictive. And they've actually done studies, poor little mice, were fed cocaine and then given the choice between cocaine and sugar, and the little mice chose sugar over cocaine. And they've done other tests along those same lines of how addictive sugar is and what the mice will do to get sugar as opposed to even cocaine. They've also done MRI scans and show that sugar lights up the same parts of our brain that cocaine does. It really is addictive, and it really gives your brain a big boost. So the blood sugar side, the dopamine is released, and it gives that addictive feeling. There's also a thing called insulin. So when you have a sugar meal, something with high carbs and high sugar, your blood sugar levels rise dramatically, and so do your insulin levels. And then what happens with insulin is actually have too much insulin, and it crashes your blood sugar level. So blood sugar falls rapidly. And you get low blood sugar, your body goes, whoa, this is dangerous. You'd better go and eat something and have something sweet and carbohydrate to bring that blood sugar back up. And many people experience this at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So they'll have had something like a sandwich and maybe some biscuits and some coffee with sugar in it, or some fruit juices in the morning and at lunchtime. And by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they're in a low blood sugar and it's crashed. And the cravings become really strong. And so, your body's saying you have to eat, and you have to eat stuff that's going to give me high sugar. And so you do, and the cycle's repeated. You go back and you eat something that's sugary, and remember that can be cake, it can be biscuits, it can be bread, it can be any of those things. And you go back into that sugar addiction. And the cycle becomes quite a vicious cycle, because, when you've got low blood sugar, you really are desperate for food. So so if you think that sugar has this high and low blood sugar level, and it's got an addiction with the dopamines in your brain, you can see why all of those foods become such a powerful pull to us. So the power of tapping. So how is tapping going to help with this sort of food craving stuff? The power of tapping goes into that subconscious mind. So into that center where it's about the feelings, it's about the addiction, it's about the emotions. That's the power of tapping, is it's going into that subconscious level. So you can't just tell yourself to change. That's using the willpower. And you say, I will never eat sugar again. And it's just that same analogy we use with, don't think of a pink elephant. And the minute you say that, all you can think of is a pink elephant. So if you say, don't eat sugar, all you can think about is all your favourite sugary, carby foods. You just can't tell yourself to change. But what you can do is tap away, and we're not tapping away the memories. Of course, we're going to remember that our mum loved us and looked after us and gave us toast when we were sick. We're going to remember that our grandma giving us our special treats. So we're not going to tap away the memories as such, but we're going to disconnect that memory from current day craving of food, because that's what we want. We want to remember that our, parents, grandparents, people around us loved and cared for us. But we don't want to then feel like, whenever I'm sick, I better go and, whenever I hurt myself, whenever I'm sad or lonely, I better go and have those special foods, because, we get sad and lonely and mad and upset more often than we probably want to eat those sorts of foods. So that's the power of tapping, is that we can change those feelings. So I think everybody probably knows this by now, but I'll just go through this quickly. This is our tapping points. So the karate chop point there on the side of the hand, that's the spot that we tap when we state what we're going to, our intentions, our plan for what we're going to tap on. It's like telling our brain and our system, this is what we're going to work on today. So we start with the, even though I feel an absolute desperate need to eat some chocolate, it's okay. I love and accept myself anyway. So we say that 3 times as we tap on that karate chop point, stating how we actually feel. And then we start with the eyebrow points. So beside the eye, between the eyebrow and the nose, and we tap on those spots. The side of the eye is actually just beside the bone there next to the eye. So obviously not on the eye, but on the bone. Under the eye, so right in the centre of again on the bone, under the eye, about where the pupil would be. Under the nose, so literally the little gap between your nose and your lip. The chin spot is actually the crease. So it's not on the chin, it's the crease under the lip. And then the collarbone spot is down from the collarbone about 2 centimetres and in about 3 centimetres from the bone in the middle, the sternum. And if you feel around there, you might feel a little gap in the muscles, and you might even find a sore spot. And that's the right spot to tap. If it's not sore, that's fine. But for many people, they find it sore. The underarm spot is if you go from your nipple, or for women along the bra strap, and tap under there. Again, it can be a sore spot. So right under your arm, along the top of the brow. And then the very last spot's the top of our head. All right. So now we get down to the exciting bit. Let's tap. So what I suggest is you have your food with you. So if you haven't got it, then go get it right now, because it works really well if you have your food with you. Now, I've gone and brought some corn chips with me today because I've actually solved my chocolate. No, Tash, the Google image is good, and especially like I brought the flake up before and everybody liked the flake. It really does work best if you actually have the food with you. If you don't, that's okay, because you can learn the process and then do it with the food later. Just because, like as I said, I've got a packet here of Doritos. Yeah, that's right. You just don't keep the chocolate in the house. So I was trying to say in the thing, just go and get yourself a little bit, because we need to, it works really well, and also just proves just how well it works when you actually have the food with you. So we'll do it. So starting with just looking at the food, or just looking at the packaging. So as I said, I've got a packet of Doritos here. So even just that sound of the packaging, can you hear that? For one lady, I remember the story where she couldn't find out what the craving was, and she knew it was chips, but she just wasn't managing to solve the problem. And then she heard this sound of the packet and realised that was the memory, the sound of the packet. So even the packaging, and of course, they do this deliberately. These food companies are not putting, brown packaging on their food. This is a Doritos, and it's a bright green with the yellow Doritos. It looks enticing. The chocolate is, of course, the same thing. It's in beautiful packaging. There's things about the red colour. Apparently red colour makes you want to eat more. So you'll see the Kit Kats and, often in the red packaging. So chocolate is one of the more common ones. As I said, I've tapped away the chocolate one, which is really exciting, from a serious chocoholic to not really wanting it at all. The only bit left for me for chocolate is the social aspect. It's like I should be having it. It's like some sort of memory of, like, I'm supposed to like this. So I've still got that little tail end of it. So look at your food. Just look at the packaging and see what feelings that even brings up. And we're going to test this with our 1 out of 10. So 1 being, no, I don't really want to eat it, to 10 being, give it to me now, where I explained about the flake, where I nearly stuck it up my nose when they said to smell it. All right. So look at the packaging and then open the package. Just open it and enjoy that feeling of opening the package. And now smell it, whether it's chips or whether it's chocolate or bread. Bread's got a beautiful smell. So have a look at it, take a little bit and smell it. So does it smell creamy? Does it smell chocolatey? Does it smell smooth? Love it. Yes, exactly. That smell, you just think, yes, the packaging, the opening the package, the smelling it. I love the smell of salt. I don't know what it is about the salty taste of chips, but it's the salt's got. Okay, Tash, Yolanda's going to eat the chocolate for you. All right, now I want you to have a small bite. I don't mean half of it, I mean just a small one. Corn chips for you, Tash, too? Good. Well, we can work on that one together. So I have a lovely Doritos corn chip here. It's bright yellow. It smells corny. And it tastes, have a bite, it's crunchy. And it's so crunchy and it's salty. So think about what thoughts you've got So everybody's using the fake cheese and the chemicals and stuff. That's your logical brain. So we don't want to work with the logical brain. We're working with the subconscious brain now. So just get into the feeling of what it feels like. So what is it with the chocolate? It's the creaminess, it's the sweetness. I actually find chocolate's not that sweet, so I don't like really sweet stuff. So I like that semi-sweetness of the chocolate. With the chips, it's the crunch, it's the salt. I don't know. What other thoughts do you have? The crunchiness. So feel that feeling in your mouth. Feel what it's doing, what that feeling is. Can you feel that? So can you feel the feelings? Is it creaminess? Is it smoothness? Does it remind you of sort of soothing? Okay, so let's work on the chocolate one first. So think about it. Is it the smoothness, the creaminess? Is it the memories? One of the chocolate bars I used to like a lot was Kit Kats. And I realized that once I'd gone from the actual chocolate, the Kit Kats reminded me of the crunch. So it doesn't have to be just the chocolatey. It can be the crunch of the Kit Kat, or the picnic with the chewiness, all those nuts and nougat and biscuits. So think about what it is that's appealing to you. And that's what we're going to tap on. So let's start. So we start on our karate chop point and we say, even though I really love this food and I could eat tons of it, and I love the smell and I love the taste, and I accept this and love myself, even though I really crave this food, and it really is something special. I remember all those parties and special times with this food, and I really enjoy it. And maybe I don't even want to give it up. I love and accept how I feel. Even though I have this intense craving to eat the whole of this food right now, and I know that wouldn't be good for me, but I love and accept how I feel. Okay, and let's go to the eyebrow point beside the eye there. It's so creamy. And beside the eye, I just want to eat the whole lot. I love the taste of this. I love the feel in my mouth. I love the crunch when I bite into it. I just love that taste. So hopefully you're following around with the tapping points. Under the arm now, I really love that taste. On top of the head, I love that smell. The eyebrow, it smells so, and is it chocolatey or sweet or salty, savoury? And beside the eye, it tastes so sweet. It tastes so creamy. Or it tastes so salty. And under the eye, I really love this taste. Under the nose, I don't want to give this up. This is too good. And the chin spot, this was my favourite food when I was a kid. and the collarbone spot. I've got so many lovely memories about having this. All those parties. My mum gave it to me whenever I was sad. It's just my favourite. And under the arm. I love this so much. And on top of the head. I'm not sure how I'm going to give this up. Okay, so have a little break, have a drink of water. Now, I want you to pick that food up again, and I want you to look at it again and think, what are you feeling about it now when you look at it? Now, smell it again. Now, for me, that corn chip's starting to get a bit more of a chemical smell. And then taste it, just a little taste again. I still like that crunchy sound. It doesn't actually have much taste. So what are your feelings now that you're tasting that? Are there any changes, or is it still something you gobble down as fast as you could? So sometimes, of course, there's no change, but sometimes people find that even just that little round of tapping. And so Elena's saying it still tastes good. That's good, that's fine. Can you think of, did any thoughts come up as you were tapping? Some thoughts about how memories from childhood, or just thoughts about why does it taste good? What is it about tastes good? So Elena, just give me a little bit about what it is that tastes so good about it. And Tash, sure, if you're doing imagination corn chips, it's a little bit harder, but if you can imagine the cheesy, salty taste to the corn chips. So soothing. It's not the taste, it's the effect. Okay, yep. All right. And Bev, what about you? Have you got something with the chocolate? What does it remind you of? Tasha's less hungry now. Well, that's a start. Considering that I'd made you all hungry by looking at that flake bar before. All right, so let's tap again. Being pacified. Okay, let's go. That's good. So they're the memories. So this is what that food craving's doing for you. Those foods relate to that thought pattern we were talking about before, of these are the things that we do to make ourselves feel better. So it's not really the food we're craving, it's the feeling of being soothed and pacified. So let's tap on that. So back up to the eyebrow. I really love this food. Beside the eye. It makes me feel so good. Under the eye, I feel soothed. I feel loved. Under the nose, I feel cared for. On the chin, I feel pacified. On the chest, chocolate makes me feel loved. Under the arm, I love chocolate, and chocolate loves me. On top of the head, this food's always there whenever I need it. On the eyebrow, even if no one else cares about me, at least this food does. Beside the eye, whenever I feel down, this makes me feel better. Under the eye, Whenever I feel sad, this soothes me. Under the nose. Whenever life gets tough, I know I can turn to food. On the chin. I feel so much better when I eat this. On the chest. This makes me feel good. Under the arm. I really love this food. On top of the head. It makes me feel better. Okay, have another deep breath. And another swig of water. All right, now let's have a pick up your food again. So I'm only a quarter, well, half the way through one corn chip. And already this packet of corn chips is not appealing to me. So smell the food. And taste it. It feels like it was a bit of a stale packet or something, and yet it wasn't. And yet that's what it's not even as crunchy as it was. How are you going with your food? No. Bev, stop thinking about it. You're all pacified. That's great. So sometimes people will find that they're actually tasting, they will get the taste of in the chocolate case, they might get the taste of the oil, or in the corn chips, it's the taste of the chemicals or the fake cheese. And they're going, this doesn't taste nice. For me, it's suddenly the chip's not as crunchy and as, it's not as appealing. Oh, you're not feeling compelled to eat it. Is that what you mean, Yelena? I was trying to read. Yeah, it's so that you're taking away some of that craving feeling, that desire to eat it. Let's just do one more round around that. So back to the eyebrow. This food isn't appealing as much anymore. Beside the eye, I'm not sure I want to eat this. Under the eye, but it's still there. I could still eat it. Under the nose. Could I throw it out? On the chin. Oh no, I might want to eat it later. On the chest. I'm not sure this is going to last forever. It's just right now I don't want it. Under the arm. I can't throw this out. That's a waste. On top of your head. I'm not sure that I could throw it out, but I don't want to eat it right now. The eyebrow. I don't really like the taste of it anymore. Beside the eye, but I might want it later. Under the eye. I can't waste it by throwing it out. Under the nose. Even if I don't want to eat it, I can't throw it out. On the chin. I'm not sure I want to eat it ever again though. On the chest. It doesn't taste that good. Under the arm. Matter of fact, my mouth feels a bit yucky. On the top of the head. but I don't know if I could throw it out. Okay, have another deep breath. So that's, of course, the next stage is that we can decide we don't want to eat something right now, or maybe its taste has changed. But the real test of knowing if you've stopped craving it is if you're actually quite happy to throw it out. Because after all, the foods we're talking about aren't really food. They're really just bunches of chemicals and are not good for our health. But yeah, can we throw them out? That whole, and opens up another whole aspect. And we talk about it as aspects in tapping. So there's the aspects of the taste and the soothing and the craving, but then there's the throwing it out is another aspect, because that's all about, wasting money and, throwing out good food, and that, you must finish your plate because of the starving kids in Africa. We can't throw things out. So that's another whole aspect of it. And I have found another aspect called, but I used to like this, so therefore I should still like it, which I think is a really interesting one that I've come up with. So how's everybody feeling? Is that craving gone? And has anybody got any questions? And just while you're, me too. I'm not feeling compulsed to eat it and feeling relaxed. That's wonderful, everybody. I'm really excited, because obviously relaxation is the, we've taken away that subconscious brain telling us to do something, and we're now just in the conscious brain being able to make intelligent decisions with the relaxed fore part of our brain. Fantastic. So while you're typing in any questions, I just want to tell you about this wonderful, exciting new program that I'm working with. It's called Health Matters. And at the moment, I'm offering a VIP sessions. It's a 12-month journey to health and weight loss. So it's not just about weight loss, although it will lead to weight loss, because it's a journey into health. It's how taking away things like the food cravings for foods that we know are not good for us, and we know that aren't helping us towards health. For many of us, that might even include bread or dairy or other foods where they're not necessarily, chemical foods like corn chips and chocolate, but they're foods that we know our body doesn't cope well with. But it's not a diet. So the goal of the program is that you will make your own owner's manual. So at the end of the program, you will know what foods work for you and what don't. You'll know how much of those foods you should be eating, and you'll recognise when you're eating out of cravings, or the other thing that we often eat out of is emotional eating. So emotional eating is another, it's like cravings, but it's the experience you often have when you're full, but you still go and open the fridge looking for something to eat, because you're trying to fill a need of loneliness or sadness or, all sorts of emotions. So a 12-month journey is going to take you through all of those experiences, and we're going to find out what it is for you, what it is that helps you feel healthy, helps you have energy, helps you sleep well, and in the process, lose weight. What I'm offering is a one-on-one fortnightly tapping session. So as the issues come up, we can tap them away. And I've partnered with a company called Precision Nutrition, who offer the nutrition part. So I've become then qualified nutritionist through them. And what they do is they send you an email every day about a new habit. So every fortnight you'll get a new habit. And the habits are things like drink more water, eat more vegetables, get a good night's sleep, all of those issues. And for the fortnight, you practice those habits. So the idea is that we don't want to change everything at once, because that's way too difficult. We can't just, and many of us do, like, I'm going to run 5 kilometers and I'm going to give up eating sugar and I'm going to give up coffee and I'm going to give up wine. And it's too much. None of us are programmed to be able to do that. But what we can do is just one thing. So if we concentrate on one thing for a fortnight, we discover what works for us and what doesn't. So when we do water, we discover we like cold water or warm water. Do we like herbal teas or do we like lemon juice in it? And we experiment. And the daily emails will be giving you things that you can do to experiment and find out what works for you. And then every fortnight, you'll get another new habit. Hopefully, we're building each of these habits and we're basically writing our owner's manual of what works and what doesn't. Because I'm there as your coach, so I'm the coach, there'll be little assignments, and I'm talking little. I'm talking, 4 or 5 sentences you might write about how you're going or an answer to a question, and that will feed through to me, and then I will be able to feed back to you. And when we get to our tapping session, we will know the things that we need to work on together to give you that extra support. And I just think this is so exciting, having been on so many diets in my life and so many health programs, and to be able to have someone that you can talk to. We can discuss what works, what doesn't work, what are the cravings that you're having. So as said before, when you go on a diet, you often, decide I'm going to cut sugar out, and suddenly all you can think of is all the sugary foods. So we're going to talk about that and what we can do, and we're going to do things like we did today where we'll tap away those cravings so that you don't have those issues anymore. And at the end of the year, you will weigh less, you will feel healthier, you will have more strength, because once we take away the cravings for things like sugar, your muscles actually grow. The fitness programs that you're doing will actually work better, which is an interesting side to taking away cravings. Sugar has so many negative effects, but so if gluten's your issue, then it has a lot of negative effects. So we will discover that. We will find ways to work with it. We'll tap away the cravings and the issues that come up, because there's emotional issues behind some of this stuff as well. And we will work through that in that 12 months. And the price is $3,950 for the 12 months. So that includes my one-on-one tapping every fortnight. So there's 26 tapping sessions, and the precision nutrition, their daily emails and daily support from me. So it's highly supportive, high touch, and we're going to really make sure you achieve your goals. So if you'd like to talk to me about how this is going to work for you, come in and book in for a 15-minute session and we can talk about that. So has anybody got any questions? There we go, and David's put up the link for you. Has anybody got any questions or anything about how this would work for them, or how the program, or how they're feeling today about the tapping? All right, well, thank you so much for everybody coming. I really appreciate it. It made it much more fun to do it with an interactive audience, and I really appreciate you all coming. Obviously, you can email me anytime with any questions, or book in for a discovery call and we can see how I can help you. If you, anybody who's never worked with me and would like to see how this works as a one-on-one session, in that work with Kay, you'll see that I can do one-on-one sessions as well. And so you could just do a one session and see if it works for you. So thank you everybody for coming, and I really appreciate you, and bye for now.